Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. I'm talking with the director of this film, a very special film, definitely, called Springsteen and I. Baillie Walsh, the director. And again, you know, something about this, you don't have to be a huge Springsteen fan to appreciate this movie. It's a great story, and there's great stories within it. And we were just talking about one of the special parts about it is you have a whole section where these fans get to meet him and the magnitude of that. You know, it's funny, I was on the Howard Stern show for 8.5 years, and I talked about my love of Bruce on that show quite a bit. And I told stories about how it shaped my life. I grew up with him and how special it was to me and my older cousin and all these different things. So about 5 years after being on the show, you know, I was sort of well known, and I was down at this place, the Starland Ballroom in Central Jersey, where he was going to be at a charity event playing, smaller place. And a typical move by him, you know, a guy who could sell out arenas all over the place. He was going to play a 900-seat theater just for charity.
Right.
And everybody went down to see him because it's a small venue. So this kid who managed the place was a comedian. And he said to me, Art, can I open up for you? I'll make you a deal. If I get you to meet Bruce, I had never met him before, just to shake his hand, can I open up for you on your next gig at a theater? And I go, you got a deal. Sight unseen. I didn't know if he was good at stand-up or not.
Yeah.
So he tells everybody he's going to do this. And people who were fans of mine who knew what he meant to me, as I got closer to meet Bruce, they sort of realized this was going to be a big fan of his meeting him. And they just sort of gravitated towards it because they wanted to see that moment of a fan meeting him for the first time. I was going to meet Bruce. And it became a big deal within the thing. And it seemed weird because it was anticlimactic. I went up, the kid said, hey, Bruce, this is Artie Lange. And Springsteen kind of gave me a nod like he knew who I was. And I said, Bruce, your music has meant so much to me over the years. And he went, thanks, man, I appreciate it a lot. And he just walked away. That was the whole meeting. But it meant everything to me, and I kind of welled up, which was kind of embarrassing. But, you know, so the whole place saw this happen. And anyway, this film captures stuff like that. You mentioned that you got the rights to the music. At what point do you know you have the rights to the music?
So what happened was, well, when I was asked to make the film, basically, I realised that there was going to be no film without the music. So I said, okay, well, we were going to meet Bruce to talk, and the management and the record company to talk them into this idea. So I was basically, flown out the next day. We came to meet the record company, talked to them about it. They really liked the idea. They talked to Barbara and John.
Right.
We went to meet them. Bruce was playing in New Jersey at the stadium there.
Right.
So we went to New Jersey to meet Barbara and John. Talked to them about it. They really liked the idea. They showed the treatment to Bruce. And it was one of those kind of tense moments backstage where we're going to see him perform, and I'd never seen him perform, so that was very exciting. And then gradually during the day, that we kind of get word back, Bruce likes this idea. And then finally, we got to meet him, and which is pretty similar to your experience, pretty much. Which was, he's obviously doing a gig, so he's got a lot on his mind. The last thing he really wants to do is kind of talk. So, but it's like Bruce wants to meet you, so you go and meet, and he says, "Great, you've got my blessing." And I think and he never, he doesn't. I think he's approached all the time to do.
Oh God, forget!
I mean, I'm sure he gets 10 a day, if not more. So, but I think the reason he responded so quickly and so definitively was because it's by the fans.
It's by the fans,
And and I think he like we say, he's given them a voice. The other interesting thing, which shows incredible trust and generosity, was that they said that day, okay, you've got access to the archive, you've got access to the music, but now go off and do it. We don't want anything to do with it. We don't want any editorial control. We'll see it when it's finished.
Oh, no kidding.
And that is what happened.
Wow.
Which, to kind of deal with anyone in the public eye on that, usually, it's like, oh, we don't like this shot, we don't like that, we don't.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? He gave us complete freedom.
Especially in exchange, in exchange for me giving you my blessing, but now all of a sudden I'm your boss,
right? Exactly, yeah.
Well, you got to feel pretty good about your own deportment, like your just general behavior for your entire career. He knows that he's been a good guy from the get-go and forever.
And and nobody's got something on tape that's truly embarrassing. That's
amazing.
I mean, if somebody said that to me, if somebody had all my performances on tape, I'd go, well, I don't know, I'd have to. And this is a guy. That is a great, John. That's a great point. I mean, absolutely. And it says a lot about your project. It's special. It's different.
Yeah, no, and I can say, because I didn't actually film anything. I put the film together and put the jigsaw pieces together.
It's a lot of work, though.
It's a lot of work. But I think it is it's a wonderful film.
Right.
People have told in really eloquent and creative ways. They've told great stories, and I think it's actually much better that I wasn't filming anything, because people are incredibly relaxed and natural and creative, right? So they're filming that if I'd gone and pointed a camera at them and kind of been asking questions, it would have been a whole different film.
Right.
One of the great things and the charm of it is the naturalness of these people,
Right.
and the love that they're giving when they're telling those stories.
Right, because then it'd be your point of view, one guy's point of view, a filmmaker.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah,
and as I started the project, I did think maybe I'm going to go and have to film to kind of embellish these stories and to maybe illustrate these stories. But I quickly realised that actually the charm of the film was it's their film.
Absolutely.
Right? Leave it alone.
Right.
When did an executive producer is Ridley Scott for this movie? When did he get involved? I mean, that's
another big name.
Pretty big
He got
deal.
involved. I mean, because it was made with Black Dog Films, which is the kind of music film part of RSA.
Right.
So it was always within Ridley's company. And then Ridley kind of really liked the film and was very happy to put his name on it. So that's kind of
Perfect.
where Ridley,
That's great.
where Ridley got involved.
We're
And
going to
obviously
take
Ridley's name helps a lot.
No,
Yeah.
it does, absolutely. It gives it some legitimacy,
Yeah.
but it's a great film either way. We're going to take another quick break and finish out the hour with Baillie Walsh, the director of this, Springsteen and I. Back after this. Sitting here with Baillie Walsh, director of Springsteen and I, documentary about Bruce. A real extraordinary film. You should check it out. It's funny. Danny Filato here. Me and Dan met a couple of years ago doing the show, and he's about 6 years older than me, from Chicago. We became fast friends. But something I didn't realize, a guy from Chicago is a huge Springsteen fan. Like, what does Springsteen mean to you? A guy from Chicago, like, you're way into him. I mean, like, even as much as I am. Like, what does it mean to you? Like, what
The same thing it means to you, except for without the Jersey references.
Right.
But it was I didn't belong at school.
The rebellious,
I had to do something to get out, and radio was my out. And no matter what anyone said, they weren't going to talk me out of it.
Yeah.
And it meant so. And at the lowest points in my life, like when I had huge chances and I just didn't belong there, or other people blew it, he was the only thing that kept me inspired to keep going.
Yeah, no, I mean, like the song, the one line in Growing Up, when they said "sit down," I stood up. Like that one line is like just F you, I'm doing something
Growing
different.
Up's such a great song.
Right? Yeah, Yeah. And the other thing is his realism of like Born to Run is all about these kids getting out, like they're gonna follow their dreams, and then Darkness on the Edge of Town is all those characters, and they never made it.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
the
It's
bluesy-
storytelling, proper storytelling.
Yeah, like
Right.
There's narratives there.
that doesn't happen anymore with albums. Like each album told another story.
Yeah.
It was like a great opera.
Yeah.
Well, I recommend this to I'm as big a Bruce fan as there is. I recommend this to everybody out there, whether you're a fan or not. Springsteen and I. What are you working on now? You doing anything?
I'm writing at the moment. I'm writing hopefully the next feature film that I hope to be making next summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And do you
We'll
like?
see.
Do you like just doing your own stuff when you make a feature? Or Your own writing.
Yeah, I mean, I've made one feature film that I wrote, and it was it was a great experience for me, and I'm just keen to get the next one done.
Describe how hard it is to do. I mean, like I co-wrote a movie that got made. It took 6 years from soup to nuts. Like it really is. Like I mean, it's
pushing a
struggle.
rock up a hill. Yeah,
Right.
No, listen, you need obviously let's say the project's a great script and you've got a good cast. You still need a ton of luck.
Yeah.
And especially in the world we live in now, and you want to make independent small films. The reality is, where are you going to show them? None of the theatres, so few theatres can show them
It's
now.
unbelievable.
Because going to the cinema is really expensive. You don't want to go and pay, I mean, in England, in Leicester Square, it's like £16, which is over $20. Right,
It's a lot of money, yeah.
By the time you've got popcorn, you know what I mean? It's like a big night out.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go and pay for a tiny little, you're going to go to an event movie. You're going to go to see, Spider-Man or Superman
What everybody
or
else is
Springsteen.
saying. Right. Right. Springsteen and I.
So, it's hard. It's hard to get films made, and it's hard to get them shown. So no, it's a tough. It's really changing.
What is your writing? Do you write drama, comedy?
Drama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
drama.
what, like the script you just wrote, what is it? Is it a personal thing? Is it
Yeah,
like
it's a personal thing. I mean, I
Yeah.
wrote the film that I made was with Daniel Craig and a really big, good British cast, and it was called Flashbacks of a Fall. And
Right.
basically, it's the follow up to that, really.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's the follow up, but you don't need to have seen Flashbacks of a Fall to see this film.
Right.
So it's the next. It's the next part of the story.
Now, did you work with Daniel Craig after the Bond stuff?
I wrote with he's the getting movie made. So I wrote it. He's a great mate. So
Right.
I wrote it for him before he was Bond,
Right.
and couldn't raise the money.
Then he became Bond.
And then he became Bond, and suddenly I could make the movie.
And he stayed loyal and made the film because he loved
which
it.
was
Right.
which was great. And
Right.
a very really generous of him to do it.
Yeah, he seems like a solid guy. Every time
He's
I
very
hear
solid.
you, he seems
Yeah,
like a
he's very
loyal
solid, yeah.
guy too. And I mean, I got the business. Those Bond movies you're doing. Again, you talk about movies. They really are like an obsession in this country. Movies. I mean, it's part of our life that you just can't get rid of.
Well, the other interesting thing about the Springsteen is that Americans are so film literate. So the
Right.
films that I got a lot of films in from Europe that were unusable because they just don't have the American sensibility of filmmaking.
Yeah.
You're just all brought up with it.
We
It
all
comes
think
naturally.
we all think we're directors.
Well, yeah, we
Again, Springsteen and I, Baillie Walsh. Much luck with everything. This and
Thank
other
you very
stuff,
much
okay?
indeed.
Back after these
you.
words.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.